do with it, the trophy. Well, you can go to, if you want a nice day out, you can go to Puppy Yoga.
Puppy Yoga.
You got Puppy
Highly recommend, guys. If you ever want to just be happy for an hour, just go to Puppy Yoga.
I like the way you booked that to overlap the top.
I didn't even book it. My friends booked it for me for my birthday, and I was like, "This is the best thing ever."
Okay, well, let's recommend that to Alex because
I've got my own puppy, mate.
What a segue.
Who poos everywhere.
Yeah, we're moving to the Liverpool game now. Liverpool versus Brighton yesterday. Liverpool went 1-0 up through Harvey Elliott. Then they were pegged back, deflected goal, Lewis Dunk, and then the goal that won it. Again, another Brighton masterpiece. This guy costs about 4 million quid. He's worth about 70 million probably now as well. Mitoma with a fantastic goal and another defeat. You must be sick of the sight of Brighton.
Yeah.
Right?
Sick of the sight of Liverpool, if I'm honest.
You're sick of the sight of Liverpool?
Yeah, I hate watching them at the minute. It's painful. It's horrible to watch at the minute.
It's a safe space. Let it out.
No, yeah. I feel like I'm in
Happens
therapy
to all of
right
us.
now.
Let it out.
Not
The table was yours.
We got 3 cameras on you.
Where do I even start, man? I think what needs to happen with Liverpool now is, obviously, we write this season off. I'm not going to be positive anymore. We're not getting top 4. We're not getting top 6. And what needs to happen now is not a change of manager. I don't think that will change our results. But what does need to happen is new owners and to get rid of a good. And this
Did
is
you
the first
just even
time.
just mention and suggest the change of manager?
No, you're not listening.
No, you
to
said
what I
not a change of manager, but that to even be mentioned.
Well, that's what they've put in the title. So
Are the Liverpool fans actually saying?
Of course there is.
They're Liverpool fans saying change the manager.
I'll use the word fans very lightly.
Hey,
It can't be a large portion.
It's not a large
No, it's a small
portion.
portion. But what I'm saying is that isn't the answer. The answer is, I mean, what happened to this new ownership that we were talking about? Where's all that chat gone? We're so far away and we're so removed and we're not privy to any of these conversations, as maybe it should be as fans. But at the same time, there's been no update about the new owners. There's been no update about squad improvement. So for me, the only thing that can happen now, and again, this isn't an immediate fix, this is in the summer, is that we get new owners who really back the team and the manager, and we get rid of a good 4 and it was about 3 players for me to get rid of. Now it's about 6, if I'm honest. I think some of the performances yesterday highlight where we need to invest. The midfield, Fabinho should have been sent off. Disgusting cameo.
How was he not sent off?
Disgusting cameo from him. I think Joe Gomez has probably got to leave now as well, which, I mean, we did keep, buy or sell. I think keep bench or sell. I think he's gone from bench to sell now. How he's been done by the same goal that Welbeck scored 2 weeks ago and Mitoma scored yesterday, how he's been done the same goal twice is just showing that we're not really taking on negatives. We're not improving. We're just putting out the same performances every week. We were lucky to even be 1-0 up. I knew we'd still lose that game.
Ali I says
this is the thing.
Weghorst has more goals than Gakpo.
Yeah, and he does.
Laughing emojis.
He does, but Gakpo has been playing massively out of position. But again, he has to take some flack as well for not.
The GOAT says, what new owner, your manager, wanted Cody Gakpo instead of a midfield?
Well, he obviously wanted more than just Gakpo, whether that was a defender, a midfielder, whatever. We needed and wanted more than Gakpo, but we're not going to get it. And why? Because our owners are looking to invest in other sporting franchises.
The manager said he was happy with the team. Gakpo, I even saw him saying he doesn't need nothing else.
So after the game
he needs nothing else.
So let me ask this question: is he becoming like a Wenger, where he shields the board and he wants to do the 10 years because he said he wants to stay at Liverpool for 10 years, and he's going to shield FSG and he's going to look after them and cushion them and cuddle them and say, "Oh, we don't actually need a midfielder." When
I don't
very
like that,
clearly
though.
you do.
Yeah, what he said in the press conference last night after the game. He kept saying about small steps in the right direction. That's worn off for me now.
Waffle.
You've said that for 3 weeks, but then also to say that the squad is all good, that is something I cannot agree with. And listen, there have been times when I've disagreed with what Klopp said. It's not all been roses and flowers the whole 7-8 years, but right now, to say that the squad is all good, that's almost an insult to fans because we're watching it every week. It isn't all good. Now we need to get rid of, I would say, Keita's got to go, Ox has got to go, Milner's got to go, I'd say Fabinho's got to go, Joe Gomez has probably got to go, Nat Phillips is probably going to go. So there's 6 or 7 off the bat. So what are you going to do? Replace them with 6 or 7 or replace them with 3 or 4? The whole squad needs a refresh, an overhaul. And again, I don't think, and I still do believe this, guys, and again, people are going to disagree with me in the comments, but I still do believe that Klopp is the man. but he just needs all the other parts around him to be top for him to. But again, these post-match comments aren't helping. That is an insult to the fans to say.
Is
that
he
the
coming
squad
to an
is
end,
all
Klopp?
there. After you've
At
just
Liverpool.
said what you
At Liverpool, is he coming to an end?
contradict
I'm
yourself,
asking Abby. I'm asking you. You're all right, relax, man. You know what I mean? I know you're not used to this pain. Like me and Abby have been through this pain.
And Mo
regularly,
Salah's been atrocious as
right?
well, by the way.
But this is a safe space. As Abby
It's
said,
tough
you know
times,
what I
man.
mean?
This is a long-term
It's a safe
manager.
space.
We thought you watched me have a full-on breakdown 2 weeks ago, okay? It happens to the best of us. Do I think he's finished, Jurgen Klopp? No, I don't. I think that the squad is finished in this cycle, and I can only compare it to, obviously, you were successful with yours, we weren't. But the same type of thing, me and Alex sometimes talk about this like off air, when we say that, do you remember when you came to Wembley and we beat you 4-1?
Yeah,
it was
October 2017.
Yeah, and
that was our turning point.
Yeah, and Ericsson, I think was Ericsson scored in the first minute or something. Was that
I think
game?
Ericsson,
Can't
Son,
remember.
Kane, they all
Yeah,
scored
it was
that
like
day.
that game was a really pivotal point. We were at this point, I think Liverpool changed, and at this point Tottenham were at a very good point but needed to elevate, and they never elevated enough. They didn't change the squad quick enough. They were too reactive as always.
2 months after that, we bought Van Dijk.
Yeah, and that's when Alisson, and that's when they started to change, and then Liverpool obviously went ahead. And I think that this is where it's come to. Again, they've been a little bit reactive in their cycle in getting new players in the right things. I think that maybe prioritising Cody Gakpo over getting someone in midfield was the wrong decision. I don't think Cody Gakpo was necessary
Klopp's
for you
decision.
to. Well, I think it was probably a board decision as well. If you're offered Cody Gakpo, you're going to say, yeah, I'll take him. He's had a good World Cup. I always think don't buy players off the back of a World Cup. Tottenham done it many times, doesn't work out. But I think if you're offered Cody Gakpo, you take him, but not at the cost of not being able to bring in what they actually needed, which was a midfielder. And obviously they didn't have that in the summer. They bought in Melo. Where is our Melo? Is he coming back?
Still injured.
God,
Who's up?
Played 13
Half a
minutes
Melo.
for Liverpool so far.
he's played how many minutes? Did you say
13 minutes.
13 minutes.
In a 4-1
So
defeat
that's
to
the
Napoli,
thing
by
again.
the
Like,
way.
you know, you went and panic bought him. Obviously, that wasn't for anyone to know he was going to get injured straight away and have such a bad injury. But I think in January, the first thing
Well,
you
I
should
don't know
have been
about that
thinking
because
of.
He's actually injured.
He's actually been injured
He
like
is,
the past
but
2
you
seasons.
couldn't have guessed that he was going to be injured. Basically, like
I mean, you play
most of the
with
season.
fire, you're going to get burnt. Isn't
Everybody avoided.
Yeah.
Everybody avoided.
But they were
him because of it.
desperate, and
It
that's
was
why
a
when it
panic
got to
buy.
it was, and
It was a
that's why when it got
total
to
panic buy,
January,
which is actually embarrassing.
I thought they must be looking
not
to bring in
had
a
anything else.
midfielder over someone like Cody Gakpo. Maybe Klopp thought you'd be able to get both,
But we're only talking about
Is he
this
coming
because
to an end?
Gakpo hasn't
No,
played well.
he's not coming to an end.
Stop
He's
trying
not
to force that, Robbie.
because
There's not
when-
people agreeing with that. The clear thing
It's-
that we
it's
need
a
to do
legitimate
is sort out
question.
the ownership and
Hold
bring
on,
in
hold
some
on,
new
hold on.
players.
Do you think
It's a
think that?
legitimate question to ask, right? Do
you think that, though?
When he
Let
was,
me ask you.
Let me just give you some context to this. First club he was at, was it Mainz?
Yeah, Mainz.
7 years, fell to pieces.
Yeah,
Second club he was at, Dortmund.
fell to pieces.
Brilliant, 7
Really fell to
years.
pieces.
How long's he been at Liverpool?
7 years.
This is his 8th
Right, so
year now.
it's a
These things don't last
legitimate
forever.
question to ask, right? Last season, incredible in everything. This season, you said, not me, you said, you're not making no excuses no more. You said it's been terrible. You said it's been poor. So that's why I'm asking the question.
Tactically-
Is it coming to an end? Because, listen, I've been there with Arsene Wenger. It's a bit like what Matisse was saying.
I mean, he was 10
right?
years beyond what we're talking
Obviously,
about
it was a
now,
lot. It was a
but
lot longer, but I
can't really compare
I
them.
do see a little
But that last 8 years was pretty
Yeah,
much.
I do see a lot of similarities, like
Bro.
what Matisse was saying.
What, so in
where he
Wenger's last 8 years, did he win the Prem, Champions League and every cup available? No. So this man still has credit and time in the
No,
bank
he does.
to
But
turn
what I'm
things
saying is
around.
that your next 8 years, what are you going to?
Well, this is the key moment.
yeah,
this is
but
how
for-
we
and
that's
define
why
what
we're
the next
asking
8
the
years
Exactly,
are.
that's why the question.
That's
Do you
why we're asking the question.
do you
My
want to go
answer to-
through like the next seven years, the last stint of Wenger? Do you want that for Liverpool? Is Klopp worth that? Where you're like, okay, we're going to literally live and die by Klopp. And I'm not saying that it's Klopp because for me, it will become a Klopp thing if you don't flip that squad quickly.
Agreed.
This is
I agree.
literally, as much as everybody likes to make jokes about Todd Bowie, a lot of you need Todd Bowie right now. Klopp needs a Todd
Facts.
Bowie. You need to flip that team.
I'd love it.
You need to flip that team because, like you mentioned with
Yeah.
Poch, if you don't flip that team quickly enough for Klopp to rejuvenate and then get a hold of things again
You're
with a
speaking
fresher
facts, bro.
team, then it's gonna
Facts.
it's just gonna keep
But
disintegrating.
you don't actually have to flip the whole team. If you consider, like, look at Sir Alex. All he used to ever do was buy maybe two
No, but
players
they're-
a season
but they're
to
behind.
rebuild.
They're lagging behind.
But we've we've tried to do that, but we've waited too many windows. So
No,
now
that's
it's
what I
gone
mean.
from 1 to 2
Yes.
players
So
to
now
3 to 4.
Yeah,
Now we
sure.
need 4 to 6 now.
100%. It's the same thing at Tottenham. But I'm saying if people would take that model and do things when you're at the top, you say, okay, well, do you know what? Okay, they're having a great season, but it's time to move
But this
things
is
on.
I mean,
years we've
what
been
do you say
talking
to
about Liverpool now.
what do you
Trust me,
say
I
to
know.
this comment from Zombie Ruler? He says Klopp named Milner and Henderson as the midfield option at the start of the season.
Yeah.
He can't let go. He's not ruthless enough on that subject of Sir Alex, who always was pretty ruthless,
Yeah.
knew when to replenish. These are his go-to guys.
And that's why the Wenger
Klopp.
But we
comparisons
can't
come from as
blame
well.
Klopp for that, bro. You have to understand
But
that
he's
the-
in
the
charge,
people
isn't he?
Look at the
above-
board,
no.
though.
Obviously,
It's the
Robbie, if
board.
you think Klopp's in charge of transfers, then I don't know what world you're living in. That's not
he's-
how football works, mate.
What do you say to what that guy just said? He named Milner
When? For
and
what game?
Henderson as the midfield option at the start of
Just
the season.
2. That's not even true.
But he,
Robbie.
no, hold
we
on.
play with the midfield 3, so that's just.
He
I don't know
almost
what he's on
mentioned.
about.
He also
what I
mentioned
mean?
Curtis
All right,
Jones.
nothing personal,
He also
mate. I mean,
he also
calm down.
I'm saying, what's he on about?
He also mentioned Curtis Jones. I don't know if Curtis Jones is good enough, but he mentioned all of those players in the summer, along with Tuchel. Same thing. They mentioned a list of midfielders, 8-9 midfielders that they didn't actually have the right profile, or they weren't actually of the level ready to actually do the job. So now you're coming. The question of Klopp is not if he's got to recruit. No, of course he's not a scout. He needs an Edwards. He needs a recruitment team. His talent ID is looking very shaky if he's signed off on Gakpo, because I think Gakpo right now, and then you're playing him up front. You're not playing him in his favourite
Because
position.
Nunes has been injured, so he's had to play in there. Yeah.
But even, why not move Salah down the middle and put Elliot in the
Salah
right
needs
wing?
to be
I asked you that
dropped.
on the preview.
Salah needs to be dropped.
Exactly. So that's another issue. But the thing is with Klopp is he going to demand the changes that he actually needs? If he's not ruthless enough to do that, then and FSG don't leave, then they're going to keep
totally
taking
agree.
the mick. They're going to keep taking the mick out of him, and they're going to be like, well, he's not demanding it. We don't need to do it. So we're just going to just chill. Everybody just sit here and just enjoy the
And that's
party.
why I'm saying the answer to all these comments and these questions isn't for Klopp to leave, because if Klopp leaves and someone else comes in, they've still got the same problem at board level.
If that person that comes in is more outspoken than Klopp and more ruthless,
But then once you start,
FSG won't hire that kind of person.
So once you start out speaking above the board, then you're not going to last
Listen,
long
all
anyway.
you need to do is just look directly at Tottenham. This is you don't want to end up where we are. Because
And I'm
it's the
fearful
same
that we
pattern.
will.
Yeah,
We'll
but it's
just
the
go
same
through
pattern.
some
You don't want to
comments.
end up where we are.
IQ Insane says he needed a midfielder. He goes and signs Gakpo. It's Klopp who's to blame. Allier says AGT so triggered. The Liverpool guy's
care.
being defensive now, says Mulibar.
Remember Abby said
DT247, AGT is upset. Get Robbie off, says Dwayne. He's deluded.
Yes, 100%
Right.
agree with that. He was late as well. That's why
right.
we're all late today.
Undone
And
says-
last week, by the way, just to put the light
Undone
back on
says
you. a
punch
bit.
ups. Elman says AGT triggered.
course I am.
AGT's rattle, says
done.
Aidan.
Yes, well
AGT
done.
loves Klopp like it's his dad.
Yes, but I love him. I love you, Dad, but I love Klopp.
Robbie is trolling, says Troy.
I won't say that.
Robbie is trolling. Listen, I'm not trolling. I'm just trying to ask the
AGT
questions.
is a waste man as well. Thanks for that.
I'm asking the questions.
Cheers, Mum.
That one was accurate.
Right? Listen, I used to get these questions asked me all the time. You know,
Yo.
do you want Wenger in? Do you want him out? Listen, I've gone through years of that.
You haven't
These
even
are
had a
legitimate
song.
questions to ask.
They haven't even had a song. You remember Wenger in, Wenger out? Do you remember that song? You haven't even got a song yet.
All right, bro.
There's
chill out.
a long way to
They're
go.
all legitimate questions, but I'm trying my best to give you an answer that isn't just defensive, because I am pointing the trigger at Klopp a little bit for
Yeah.
coming out with these statements that are clearly offensive to the fan base. If you're
course.
coming out and saying the squad's all good, no, it's not.
But
Don't lie
if
to
you
us.
genuinely think that managers really and truly, maybe Pep would have a say in who is brought in. Most clubs do not give a manager
Exactly.
any leeway or any decision. They might say, I want Messi, and you end up with
But they are
Dan Juma.
But someone of Klopp's value to Liverpool is going to have not a say. He's not going to have the final decision, but he's
He'll
definitely
have a
going to have
big
the
say.
input.
Well, he might be able to
He'll
say,
have a
I
big
don't
impact.
want
He'll have
that one.
a 49% saying in terms of this is the player I want. But
So he
then
has to get
again,
that right.
if he's
Yeah, but it's
not
the
getting
board
that,
that's
if he's
doing
not
it.
getting that, then how can you blame him for that?
Yeah.
But if he's coming out and saying we don't need a midfielder, then what's he saying behind the scenes?
Well, that's what
But
we'd
he's
all like to
protecting-
know.
he's protecting
All right, let me
Cool.
do a few more comments there. Jack Mannion says Klopp is the only one to blame here. Michael Edwards made him, and now he broke him and left him. Mikash says, laugh out loud, AGT, you were late for the COP TV yesterday. Right, so I forgot to mention
Jesus.
it. Is that true?
That is true.
Wow.
And he having a go at me.
But you were twice. You were
Having
2
a go
weeks
at me,
in a
and I
row.
was doing another show.
I told you late this week.
Just before that.
It's never good.
David says Brighton spent less than Liverpool. Klopp has been backed. Klopp gets praised for when things go well, but doesn't get criticised for when they go
But do
bad.
you know the thing is with Klopp that I don't get with this Pep thing as well? Klopp has got the whole fan base on side, or 99% of the fan base. Klopp's got a lot of power. Klopp's got a lot of loyalty. So Klopp has the kind of power to say, do you know what? I'm not going to completely protect you guys. I'm actually going to say it how it is, because what are you going to do? Sack me? What are you going to do then? The Liverpool fans are going to turn on you. So I don't buy this notion. When you talk about lack of power, it usually comes from managers that are on short-term contracts, 18 months, like a Tuchel or whatever, or it comes from managers that don't have the credit in the bank, don't have the CV, don't have the loyalty of the fans. You can't speak out, no. But Klopp, you're telling me Klopp can't speak out when he's won every single trophy for Liverpool. He's had incredible seasons. He's got the whole fan base behind him, and he can't say, even in a cheeky way, we could do with someone, but we'll
I
see
agree.
what happens.
So
I'm
people
not
think
buying
Klopp's the
this
problem.
rubbish. I'm not saying Klopp is the whole problem, but Klopp is part of the problem right now,
100%.
because he
I'm
has
not
to,
letting him off.
He has to
He's
grow
gotta
some
take some blame.
kahunas, and he has to come and speak properly on the matters that are issues, because if he doesn't do that, I'm not going to believe that he knows what the problem is.
I enter the super chat. He says Klopp has spent a fortune. The man is finished. AK Dash says, how long does Klopp get a pass from AGT? How long does he get?
You're not listening to what I'm saying. He does have to take some responsibility. He does. But I'm not saying that he's the main problem. Of course, when we're losing games and he's coming out with flippant comments that the squad's all good, that is where I start to look at it and say, well, if you think that, then we're definitely in trouble.
If
you can't see that,
isn't that where you got to blame him then?
that's what I'm saying. He's getting blamed for that. But the other problems, the lack of investment, how can I blame Klopp for that?
Why spend more when your manager's saying it's all good?
But you're not listening. You're trying to twist what I'm saying, Robbie. Isn't he?
He is. He's trying to twist it.
Right,
Because
if you're
how am I
listening to what I'm
trying
to
saying,
twist
If
it?
I turn around on this show, right? If I turn around on this show, right, and like say the camera guys, the production team said, "Hey Robbie, you know what? We could do it on 2 new cameras, man. You know what I mean? Because we think the production's dropped." And I said, "No, I think everything's fine, man. It's all good." When the criticism starts coming in, right, I can't then. You know what I mean, I said it. I said I'm all good with these cameras.
100%.
Yeah, but
So I've got a hole in.
There's no way that Klopp, behind the scenes, in
No, but you can't make that
boardrooms,
assumption.
Then don't,
Because
because
there's
I'm going by what he
because
said.
managers do it. Because Pochettino did it.
You've got to say that
Pochettino
stuff,
did it.
Robbie.
Pochettino's out there and said that you can have a lovely house, but if your
read
furniture's
between
crap,
the
it's
lines,
crap.
Robbie.
And at the end of the day, Klopp will start to do that. He'll make the little digs. He will start to do it. But at the minute,
Well, I'm
he's
waiting
still
to see. I
protecting
want
the
evidence,
board.
because there is nothing
There's
to read
no
in
way
between
you
the
can
lines.
honestly
He's
say.
not
quite
you're
easily
not
come out.
sitting there
He's not
saying
saying
that.
in a way.
Quite easily come out and say we need a couple of midfielders.
You know what? I'm not saying FSG. I'm not asking him to come to the press conference and say FSG out and look down the camera lens. I'm saying to him, okay, why can't you say we could probably do with a midfielder, but we'll see what happens.
He has
Exactly.
said this
He did
stuff.
that in
He
the
has
summer.
said this.
No,
he
in the
said
summer
if
he
the
said he
right
hasn't- no.
opportunity comes up, we will
We'll
go
go-
in for it.
yeah.
Clearly,
In the
let me
summer,
finish. He said last week,
What
not last
position?
summer,
Did he
last
mention
week,
position?
he said about every position, if there's a right opportunity to come up that is the right price, of course we'd do it. Why wouldn't we do it? We're not just going to sit back and watch everyone else get their
Last
thing.
season, he said he didn't need a midfielder. So last season,
But last week,
That's what I heard him
Again,
say,
you're not
yeah.
watching press conferences like I am. Last week, and I did a video on the COP TV. You can go and watch it. Last week, he said, "Of course, we will act if the right opportunity is there." If
So
it's
why is he
not
saying
there,
now it's all
because
good?
clearly the right opportunity right now, with 1 day to go in the window, isn't there. We're not going
What's
to
he
be
been doing
taken
all
for
January?
months.
So
What's he
why
been doing all January?
Okay, so
Fucking hell,
that's
this is
fine.
I'm trying to
bro.
help you
That's fine.
here.
So why
You're the
say
best shit stirrer
So
around,
why
Robbie, I
say
can't
it's
lie.
all good
People
when you
in the
could say
comments say
actually
that as
it's
well.
not all good?
Because what do you want him to say?
It's
He's
not
not
all
the type
good.
of manager that is going to do that.
Your manager says it, no?
But that's because
Comes
he's the type
out-
of manager
But
that is.
he ain't getting a new
He's not
contract,
getting a new
is he?
contract.
So he's done it the wrong
He's not
way.
getting a new
No,
contract.
listen. All right, so let me give you an example. Mikel Arteta came out, right? Whether he gets it or not, Mikel Arteta came out this January and says, "Yo, you know what? We need signings. The squad's not big enough. We need to get some signings in." He goes, "We need a midfielder." They're trying to get him a midfielder. It might not happen. They might not get Caicedo.
So you don't think
but
that
they're trying
to do that
But
at
he's
Liverpool?
made it clear We need
Do you not,
this.
so do you not think we're linked or looking at anyone then?
You
I don't
haven't,
think Liverpool
we
did
have
anything.
seen
I
the
don't know.
links
I don't know.
to midfielders.
We've been linked to 20 midfielders. I can read them out to you now.
Onahi for
I'll read them out
Most of
to
them
you
are
right
from
now.
Onahi from Morocco, right?
Anyway, before you read that out, let me just get there's a few more super chats here.
20
And then
names
we get-
there.
Yeah?
You know,
But I've not heard Klopp mention
Onahi
her.
from Morocco, right? He plays in the
That's
midfield.
not how we do
He had a
business
great
like
World
you,
Cup,
man,
and
bro.
where's he going? He's going to Marseille. Guess how much? 10 million euros. You like Onahi? Onahi from Morocco? You
Never
remember
heard
his
of
World
him,
Cup
to be honest.
performances?
He was
you
good.
have heard of him.
Good, you watched
Him
him
and
play.
I've heard of
Amrabat.
Amrabat,
Him and
Tchouameni,
Amrabat. He
Enzo,
played next to Amrabat in midfield.
Zakaria,
you ain't got
Neves,
10 million euros? You ain't got 10
Bellingham,
million euros.
all these
All right,
man.
listen, I'm going to move it on, right? But let me just say a couple more super chats. Nick Man says, no sympathy for Liverpool fan. You belong where you belong.
need
Ha
it.
ha.
Brilliant. Cheers,
He's
mate.
like Graham Souness. Never gives credit to United. Whole that. Hashtag